Okay, we're recording. Hi, Morgan.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's a nice day here in St. Louis. First, let me just say hi to you. Welcome to everyone who's watching. If this is the first time a viewer has tuned in, I'm Megan Holmes, and I own the Needlepoint Clubhouse in St. Louis, and I am also known as STL Needlepoint. That's on Instagram. But my friend Melissa McLeod and I, she owns The Wool and the Floss, have started this podcast, and it kind of was, I would call it my like total silver lining of quarantine, because I started doing some things on Instagram Live. She started doing some things on Instagram Live, and we kind of got together and did this podcast. So we always feel like everybody knows the people we're interviewing, but they never know us, and we always forget to introduce ourselves. So anyway, so I'm Megan, and this is Morgan. Morgan, and you said it's Morgan Foery, actually, right?
Yep, Morgan Foery. I always say you say my last name like the number 4 with an E at the end.
Perfect. That's perfect. I was thinking actually the golf, like 4, but that's harder to explain. So welcome. So, and you've named the company by your first and middle name, right? Morgan Julia.
Exactly.
It's Morgan Julia Designs. And I like your MJD, like your kind of acronym, I guess. So you probably also use that in second reference and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you've been in the needlepoint industry for a little while, but what some people might not know is I was kind of doing a little pre-work, a little stalker work, and I scrolled way back down on your Instagram, and you actually, it appears that you kind of started as a printmaker, an artist. Is that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what's funny about that is I knew I always wanted to be in some sort of like design job in high school. I just wasn't sure what that was, and my parents were always like a little bit more concerned about like, oh, do you really want to go into art? Like, will you be able to support yourself?
Make any money?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, well, if I want to go into art, like I might as well start building a following while I can. So I started just kind of painting canvases with acrylic. I took some screen printing classes, which I loved, did clay. So basically any medium you can think of. But it wasn't until after I graduated that I kind of found needlepoint and made that my career.
So where did you go to school?
I went to University of Maryland in College Park.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's cool about them is I was able to make my own major there. So
Cool.
yeah, I played around with a few different majors at first. I thought I wanted to be an art teacher for like elementary school kids, but just wasn't sure. And then I tried architecture, and so much math, I just couldn't handle it.
No.
Yeah.
Me neither.
And then I found their like, I think it's called individual studies program. So you kind of create your own major, and you like pitch it to a board, and they approve it or deny it. And so mine was design and merchandising. So kind of a mix of art and business.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. But there were a lot of other cool people, like a lot of like political science people in my kind of group, just a bunch of different majors. And so it was cool to see kind of what everybody picked and what they're doing now.
And so are you the only one who's kind of using their degree? Do you know of your friends that you made, or is?
Yeah, I think.
Because this, I mean, what you just described is like exactly what you're doing. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Design and merchandising. It's exactly, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think for the most part, most of them kind of wanted to go into the corporate world, and that just wasn't really my space. I never really felt like I wanted to do that. So I'm sure they'll all end up in like amazing places a few years down the road, but they're happy with what they're doing now. So.
Well, you're in an amazing place. I mean, let's be honest. So I hope you don't mind my asking, because I didn't really clear that. But so how long has it been since you graduated from college? Not so long.
No, not very long. I'm 23, so I think it's been a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, I graduated a semester early because college just wasn't really my jam.
Good for you. You must be wise beyond your years, girl. I was ready to stick around and party. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, so you graduated a semester early, you left college, you graduated with this merchandising and design degree, and so then what?
So I honestly had no idea what I was going to do. I did not do a good job searching like while I was finishing up. So I graduated and kind of gave myself a month to get a job and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was lucky enough to come across Hallmark.
Oh yeah,
The
which is actually
store.
here in Kansas City.
Yeah. And I guess the way that some of the stores work is some are franchised. And there was a franchise in like the DC area. I think there were like over 30 stores, like all by the same owner.
Yeah.
And they were struggling with how to kind of get people into stores with like the rise of e-commerce. So they were looking for a merchandiser to kind of help them set up their stores better and make cool window displays. So that's where I ended up. And I was I liked it a lot. I liked the people that I worked with, but it was a lot of driving, like commuting to Northern Virginia every
all the
day.
stores. Got
Yep, all the stores. And I not a huge fan of driving either. It sounds bad to say, but yeah, after a while, my days were very long. I wasn't sure how much growth I could have in the company in the location that we were in Maryland without having to move.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to kind of pivot. And it's funny because we had like a snow day or something. This was like when I was thinking about maybe changing paths and doing something more on social media. And on that snow day, I had like Indeed job emails coming to me. And then on that day, I got one from a dog company based in Annapolis. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So it's called Bay Dog, and they were a total startup. Like it was bare bones. And it was owned by a Naval Academy vet. I think he was a Marine.
Okay.
And they wanted to kind of be the next Roughwear. So really cool, like dog adventure gear, like more about the Bay.
Yeah.
So I worked there as their like social media person, and it was a really great opportunity. I learned a lot. I was like the only girl. There were 4 of us. It was like a bunch of men in like their 50s and 60s, and then just me.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was cool. I learned a lot from them, and it wasn't like super demanding. So that's kind of when I started needlepointing on the side.
So had you stitched before?
Yeah, I started stitching probably a year before, or half a year before that. When I was working for Hallmark, that's when I kind of picked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, just to decompress after I got home from work and driving. And if I would get there early or get stuck in traffic, like I would just have a needlepoint canvas in my car so I could just like, stitch if like it was like
art.
Yeah.
Yep. Who taught you to stitch?
I actually taught myself, which was difficult.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of YouTube videos. I remember getting my first canvas for Christmas, and it was a dog collar for my dog Captain.
Sure.
I couldn't figure it out. I started crying like an hour in. I was like, oh, this is so hard. I'll never learn, but just stuck with it, and I love it now.
Well, and we mentioned that you don't really have a really nearby needlepoint shop. You and I talked about that a second ago. And so that's hard too when you don't have the resource to be able to pop into a shop and get some help. So you're working for the Bay Dog, you're stitching on the side, and one day you say to yourself, I want to paint a needlepoint canvas, or how does that go?
Exactly. So I think at this time I didn't have like any canvases in my stash, which is shocking because I think I have over like 80 now, which is
Is that what all the drawers are behind you? All
all canvases. Yeah. So I just decided to kind of paint one of my own designs, like something that I did on my iPad. And I'd been stitching like long enough where I kind of understood like stitch painting and how you would kind of go about it. And then I just put it up on my art Instagram for fun, which has now become my Morgan Julie Designs Instagram. And I guess the needlepoint community found it, and it took off, and people were like, where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? And I was like, wait.
Remind me, what was it? What was your first design?
I believe the first one was the rosé service.
Oh, cute. Yes.
Yeah. That and American Sales were one. I'm not sure which one came first, but definitely one of those. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people would buy this.
Buy it. Yeah.
So I put together a Shopify website like overnight or something. And then the next day started selling. Never really looked back.
Wow. And so I think we kind of glossed over the part where you were painting on canvas, not needlepoint canvas before. So you have
Yeah.
had your Instagram up with some of your painting and your prints.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had a bit of a following for your art, right?
Yeah.
About that? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was also selling on like Redbubble and Society 6 too. So I posted some of those things. But yeah, a little bit of a following.
And then, so do you think that it was kind of that group that was like, oh my gosh, we're also needle pointers and now she's going to paint canvas? Or do you think it was a whole different kind of following? Can you anecdotally tell?
I feel like it was a little bit of both. I think hashtags were a big help for why it found the needlepoint community.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there's a few people that still follow me that had followed me before I even started needle pointing. So I think there's been some similarities there, but
Sure.
yeah.
And are you still doing any painting on just like acrylic on canvas?
No, I've actually completely stopped painting on canvas. What I still like to do though is graphic design. So I
Okay.
love doing like illustrations on my iPad and yeah.
So you mentioned that you did your first design on, did you just say Illustrator on your iPad?
Mhm.
So is that really how you kind of still create your needlepoint canvases?
Yeah, it's funny because when I first started designing, I basically entirely used MacStitch, which is
Okay.
very difficult to design with. It takes a while. It's great for making like a chart for repainting designs, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not the best software. And I'm always like, it's not hands-on enough for me because you're just kind of like, poking with your mouse at the little squares.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of switched over to drawing them on my iPad because I really like to just illustrate and then just printing that out, putting it under a needlepoint canvas, and then
Stitch
like,
painting it.
yep, exactly.
I think a lot of people, a lot of other designers do that too. But it's always interesting to hear how you got to that point, or like, what brought you to the place that you're at as far as design. So, another question is, how do you get inspiration for your designs? I mean, it's very nautical. You're in Annapolis. I don't think I even said that. I'm sorry at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So you're inspired by your surroundings, would be my guess. But
Yeah, definitely. I always like to, when I'm coming up with a new design, I like to do it around things that I love because I feel like, I don't know, it feels more me and I feel like it helps kind of my brand grow. So a lot of it is coastal just because I've lived in Annapolis my whole life, grown up. My seafood collection is just because seafood's my favorite type of food.
so cute.
Yeah, and then I'm also kind of starting to design for my resort launch in January.
Okay.
And so that's more so like inspired by like tropical destinations that I've been to. So yeah, a mix of home and travel.
Well, the On Vacay and the Cabana Boy, and those are all kind of part of, or is that kind of the vein that you're going in? Is that?
Yeah, yeah, that's more resort. Yeah.
Those are so cute, so cute. In fact, we just got a big package from you the other day, and the Cabana Boy was the first one that sold out of that group.
Oh, really?
What does it say? Cabana Boy wanted? Is that what I think it says?
Exactly. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was funny, but and then you've also got some like a little bit of a fun side, like the jungle juice and the. Where are you finding those? I mean, you're not looking at cheetahs in your backyard.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Where else do you find that inspiration?
I think it just comes to me and from like sketches on my iPad and just playing around with stuff. I've always just liked the idea of like animals drinking. I always thought, not like actually, just like illustrations of it.
Sure.
And thought that it would kind of fit in with like, because I do have like a lot of like my bar cart canvas champagne bucket.
So
I thought that was kind of like a good addition to like a bar line. But just kind of like the playful, whimsical, fun part of that. Yeah.
very good. It's so cute. So of your designs that you've already got, so well, first of all, how many do you have? I always like to ask that because I think it's interesting to the collections. It's like how large?
I think I have around 40.
I was thinking 50, but you would know better, but that was about what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Cool.
probably closer to 50 with the ones that I have in the works now.
And are you coming to us from your studio? Is that what we see in the background? background there with, I see some paints and I see so that must be your inventory, maybe or canvas and things.
Yep, exactly. So I have huge racks for shipping right there, and then
Uh-huh.
keep most of my inventory in there. And then I have a little dresser in the back, which is kind of my personal stash.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we actually just moved. We bought our first house, so we've been in here for about a month now. So it's been fun to kind of set up and get it how I want it.
Oh, how fun. So do you have a friend or
Yeah, I have a significant other.
very nice. Very
Yeah, I don't really say, because everyone's like, oh, you're living in sin. That's kind of what we joke. But yeah, we've been together for almost 5 years, and we met in middle school, which is kind of funny. So
Oh, that's so cute.
I feel like I've known him forever.
So, and it's a him. And is he a needle pointer?
He's not.
Sorry, say that again.
He likes to watch me stitch and pick out canvases, but he is in the mortgage industry, like mortgage and finance. So
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. So this is your home studio. So that's very cool. And you're and like we said, you're in Annapolis, and so my guess is you still live close by to your family, or
Yep, my dad actually moved to Florida. I want to say about 3 or 4 years ago now, but my mom's still in Annapolis. She's about 20 minutes away from me, so I'm still close with her.
You've got your dad to go visit to do research for that resort.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So are you able to show us anything that you're working on since you're sitting in your studio? You
Yeah.
resort line, but what you got? Do you have anything new to share?
So I painted this one this morning, and this will be part of my seafood collection, I think. And it is clams.
Oh,
In a little yellow bag. So I'm still playing around with the colors. I might have a second go at it, but I'm happy with how it's turning out.
How large is that? Is it about like 4x4-ish, 5?
Yeah, that's what I would say, 4x4, little ornament size.
Yeah. So about the same size as the plate, right? With the
Oysters. Yeah, exactly.
very good. Okay.
Yeah. And then I did this one this past weekend, and it is like of a no wake zone.
Buoy. Oh, that's so cute. You know, that would make a darling canvas for a little kid's room.
Oh yeah.
Nursery sign.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing it as like a stand-up too. So I don't know if it's big enough, but that might be fun too.
Yeah, you never know. Oh, what a great idea. Well, thanks for sharing that. So those, now are you, I don't know, I think this word is out. If not, I'm going to break the news that instead of having Destination Dallas this year, we're having, there will be a virtual trade show. I don't know if you heard. That's in the works. I've heard about it. So are you anticipating being involved, do you think, in trade shows? And
yeah.
Did you intend to be in Orlando in the spring, or?
I didn't have plans to, just I was so concerned about going. I don't know. It was just also new to me.
Sure.
But I would have loved to go to Dallas this fall, but that's super cool. If it's virtual, I'll definitely try to attend.
Yeah. And so I think that designers are usually, well, I would say probably by this time, but in August, most people are kind of already planning on what they're going to launch in September. But yeah, and you have a kind of a collection that you're hoping to launch this fall, did you say?
Yeah, I have the lobster boat that's on my Instagram. I'm trying to think of what else is in there. I think there is there's flowers.
Oh, fun.
And I think the other two are going to be a surprise. If that's
okay. Good for you. Keep it a surprise. Good for you.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite of your designs? Like, what is your personal favorite?
I think my favorite has to be oysters on the half shell.
Okay.
It took me a while to get it the way that I wanted to. Like, it took me a while to paint it. I went through several like renditions, but I just that one will always like hold a special place in my heart, especially because it was kind of the start of my seafood collection too. So
yeah, that's very cute. So what is your least favorite?
Oh, I really am not a big fan of shady and salty.
Oh my gosh, we finished so many of those. I think we have 3 in our finishing drawer right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's the eyeglass case, right? The one that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, you finished mine too, I think.
Oh, that's right. Gosh, I totally forgot about that. We sure did. Yes. And I think that's probably why we've, well, thank you for that, because I think we've gotten some business from that. But yeah, I think it's so cute, but do you just not like it because it's I guess, without being insulting, it's like just a little basic. It's not, there's not a
Yep,
ton of design work in it. So, okay.
exactly. And I'll probably keep it around because I think it is good for beginners, but
Oh, it's great for beginners, and I'm a big tongue-in-cheek. I think it's funny. I like that it goes on the eyeglass case. So I think that's, yeah, I think that's really cute. That's funny. So then, what about your worst seller? Do you know what sells the least of all of your designs?
I'd probably say that's one of them, Shady and
This
Saucy.
really,
Yeah, it sells
like half of the ones you've sold here in the shop.
I know you probably do have like all of them.
That's funny. And then what about number one bestseller at this point?
Bar card, I think by far.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, thank you. Followed probably by my oysters on the half shell,
Okay.
and American Sales. I think those
Okay.
are my top 3 right now.
And the American sails, if I have this correct, it's the sailboat with the American flag, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, all right. Very good. Well, it's funny because when I first started doing these designer interviews, I was doing them live, and so a lot of them aren't saved. But I had a conversation with another designer, and once she told me the worst seller, she texted me and said, it's actually selling now. So that's why I figured, why not ask? Because you never know, you know?
Yeah.
They'll look at it and they'll say, well, that's not so bad.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Right, exactly. So is there anything else about your design process or the industry that you want to share with us? I think it's cool that you've gotten into the needle minder kind of business, if you will, too. Ginger jar. Now sorry, I'm going to digress. I'm kind of everywhere sometimes. I saw on your Instagram that the ginger jar was originally a print that you made. Isn't that right?
Yep, yeah, it's been a sticker on my Redbubble site for years. But then I just kind of simplified it for a needle minder.
Yes, and it's darling. And then the other thing I saw that I wanted to put you on the spot and tell you is there's this really cute navy and white striped bow that needs to be in needlepoint. You had them side by side. It was the ginger jar and then this little navy and white striped bow. And I was like, those are so cute together. They'd make such a cute matching set in canvas. So
Okay.
think about that. Think about that.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be really cute. Anyway, and then the bar cart minder is darling, and that's really fun. So good. Just the designs are I think they're classic. They're clever. You're doing a great job. So
thank you.
So yeah, I have a couple of other questions, but I always I feel like I'm always talking. So I think that am I right that you brought on another staff person or someone to work with you?
Yep, I brought on my little sister this summer.
Oh, it's your sister, great.
Yep, yeah, she's my sister. I don't know that many people know that. I'm not sure I've said that. Yeah, she was looking for a job, and it's funny because she was going to work with my boyfriend at their company, but he was like, I think you should use her. I think you'll need her. And I'm like, there's no way. But yeah, she's been putting in the work, and especially with the move, she's really helped with that because I could just worry about setting everything up here, and she could ship for me. So
and kind of manage, because we all know in this industry, especially in this time right now, that communication is so hard. Like email, DMs, Facebook messages, all of the things. So is she kind of working on those things for you too, or?
Yeah, definitely. If you send us an email, odds are she'll reply. And
I'm sorry, but I cannot remember what her name is.
Oh, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. All right, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna say, hi, Brooklyn, even though I'm messaging you. Is she still in college, or what is your sister doing?
Yep, she's still in college. She's actually about to head back in 2 weeks. She goes to school in Tampa.
Okay.
They're entirely online, so she's kind of been figuring out, like, would she stay up here? Would she go back? But I think she's gonna go back. She has an apartment there, and I'll keep her on emails and social media stuff. And
good. Well, it is weird times, and we're all trying to figure it out. But I think one thing that's keeping us all sane is stitching. And just kind of focusing on an art and a craft and just kind of keeping our minds busy. So do you mind sharing with us what you're stitching right now? Do you stitch a lot of you probably have to stitch a lot for samples, which is hard. Yep. But do you stitch anyone else's work?
Yeah, I have this one. I actually don't know the artist. I don't know if you'll know, but I just got it the other day, and it's a lobster. It says BR, so
Oh,
I
you are going to test me. V, like Victor, R? I
oh,
can't.
no, B. I think BR.
Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. I should know this, but I don't know who that is. But whoever's watching needs to message us and tell us because, and maybe Melissa will know too. She's good at these things, but that's beautiful. So, and do you mostly stitch basket weave or are you testing out stitches or?
Yeah, I mostly do basket weave. I'm not a huge fan of decorative stitches. I actually did for the Stitch Club ornament exchange. I tried to push myself and use like 2 new stitches in that. So steps outside my comfort zone a little bit. But I love basket weave. It's my favorite.
It's relaxing. And, you know, I've mentioned this before, you know, that's my true love too. It's classic, it's meditative, and it's beautiful, especially if you try out different threads and things. So keep on keeping on. So you mentioned the Stitch Club ornament exchange, which is an awesome thing. So what is is it Stitch Club DC or what, or do you have Annapolis or which are you?
No. I think Stitch Club Official is doing the ornament,
okay.
if I'm right.
So do you participate in a local one or do you have a Stitch Club nearby you?
No, we actually don't. I was going to start one for Annapolis, but it's on hold right now just because of COVID. But I hope to start it once we can start seeing each other.
Good. So we'll have to let everybody know that that you'll be doing that. So stay tuned, and hopefully you can find a group of people to work with out there and get together with. That's what
I went to Stitch Club Baltimore a few times, and they've kind of adopted me as their own. And I met Jenny Henry there, and who I just adore.
So you met Jenny Jenny's awesome. And you know, she's been in the industry for a really long time.
Oh yeah. I think she told me she started like right after college for like Needlepoint Ink or something like that. But
yes, she's been in the, sorry, I got distracted because somebody said something next to me, but you said you met her at Stitch Club. Which one was it? Baltimore. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Out for a minute. Yeah, so that was fun. I'm glad you were able to get to that and meet her. She's a neat person. In fact, I should think about that. We need to interview her. She would be a really good.
You should do her and Brooke for Our Common Thread Co.
Oh yeah, that's a cool thing too. We should talk about Our Common Thread. I'm going to make a note of that. Our Common Thread. Got it. All right, booked.
Yeah.
Super. Well, I like to end with a quick little lightning round.
Okay.
You've answered a couple of my questions actually, but I always like to ask like basket weave or decorative stitches, which you just answered the question. But for you, I'm wondering champagne or rosé?
Oh, I gotta say rosé right now. I'm really drinking it like it's water, which is bad.
Yeah, welcome to the club. It's crazy times. Well, I know that both of those are sitting very, very sweetly on your bar cart. So I just wondered what was your favorite. So there's that. And then, so I like to ask ocean or mountains?
Ocean for sure.
I was gonna guess that too. And then are you reading anything right now?
No, actually. Oh, well, that's not true. I am, but I'm reading like self-help books for therapy. So nothing, but I am reading.
Good for you. Well, that's all right. I went to an interview once and it was my first interview out of college and they said, what's on your nightstand? And I was like, and he was like, what are you reading? And I was like, and I was like, how do I answer this question? So it's always fascinating just to see what people, I mean, you could say you're reading comic strips, you know.
Okay.
Books are fine. Very good. Well, it's really been a pleasure to talk to you and put a face with your designs. And I know everyone's really going to enjoy hearing more about you and your work. And I just want to say really quick to everybody that please, after you watch this, hit the subscribe button for me. It's right on the bottom, like when you see it on YouTube, subscribe is right there. It just helps for us to get the word out and to continue to do these podcasts. So I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything else? Any parting words for us?
Not really. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that you're doing this because it's been so fun to watch too and get to kind of meet the other artists in our industry. So it's wonderful what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. It's been really fun for us too, and especially in this weird time, we don't have the trade shows and ways to all get together. So so I'm glad that you're using this as a resource. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
You take care and enjoy that new home. And oh, too bad we didn't get to meet Captain. Is he?
Oh, you want to see him?
Is he there with you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Hi, Captain. how are you, big guy? You were so quiet and sweet the whole time. I didn't even know you were there. Hi, buddy. All right, well, bye-bye, Captain. He's so sweet. All right, girl. Well, you take care. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.